Hi guys, how are you? Happy new month. It is Conversations with Kanyumozi. My name is Lisa Kanyumozi Raboni, and I thought let's speak about something on a lighter note after I listened to a podcast called the Feminist podcast. Shout out to my love Bonita for sharing it on her social media and then plugging the rest of us. And they talked about loving a feminist. What does that look like? What does that feel like? And I want to have an in-depth conversation. Last year, I read a book that I think everyone should read. And I feel like if you want to actually be in relationship with me romantically, I'm going to force you to read that book. And the book is all about love, new visions. It's by Bell Hooks, one of my favorite feminist scholars. And it tries to dissect, unpack, open up, and then try to work on how we love, how we understand love, how we compute love, how we think of love, and how we perform love to people that we love. And we're going to get into that. We're going to talk a little bit about the chapters that were in that book throughout the month. But first, how does feminist change the way you love? If you watch this, I'm hoping 70% of the viewers are active feminists. How has being a feminist, learning feminist principles, turning your actions into those of feminist behavior, change the way that you love? One of the things people think is not feminist is love. That's funny, because I don't think I have understood love as well as when I became a feminist. And I like that the podcast that I was listening to, the question is, how has feminism changed the way that you love? And I shared a little bit on my Twitter page as soon as I listened in on it. And the first thing that I will say is the quality of people that I look for when it comes to love, either as friends or as romantic partners. Even with my family relationships, what do I look for? The first thing I look for is freedom. I don't know who taught us that love is supposed to be possessive, but once I feel I'm being possessive of a person, and someone is being possessive over me, I do not compute that as love. I now see that as suffocation. Another thing is individuality. The whole notion of tying into being the person that I'm with, especially when it comes to romantically, even with friendship, if we are there's having the same principles and values, that's different. But if we're literally the same person and you do not have a mind of your own, that is not reflective of a healthy love when it comes to me. So looking at individuality, I always ask people who are in relationships, you're together every day. When do you breathe? When are you your own person? Why are you someone else? And then it's very easy to be influenced. For me, it doesn't work. What do I look for? Community and care. It's one thing to love me, but it's another thing to care for me. Because when you care for me, there are things that you're not going to do to hurt me, because you care about my feelings. You care about understanding how your actions are going to impact me. So I think care is a very important it's a very important part of loving me and of me loving people. If I care for people, there are certain things that I'm not going to do. When it comes to community, you being my person in all forms and ways, like I'm able to find solace and peace in you. Obviously, I'm not going to make you a therapist because that's toxic as well, but I'm able to find solace in you. Another thing that I learned when I computed love as a feminist is that love is a choice. Love is not to do it instant or because. No. Love is an active choice. It is me waking up every morning and saying, I love this person. I love my mother. I love my sister. I love my brothers. I love my friends. I love my partner. And then making sure that my love is action-packed as well. Because it's one thing to say, I love you, and then hurt you. Then say, oh, but I love you. Does that make sense to you? It doesn't to me. So knowing that it's an active choice and me choosing that I love you and mirroring actions that make sense with that. And then another thing is love is not permanent. In the storybooks that we read, the fairy tales, the movies, and all of this, love is all from 25 all the way down to 90,000 years. Oh my God. If you find that, well and good. But one thing that I've come to understand when my idea of love has grown into what it is now is that love is not permanent, and it's okay for me to enjoy a person in the now. It is okay for me to give you all and fully and not feel guilty about it because we ended after 2 months or 2 years or 3 years or a year. It is in that moment when I've chosen to love you actively, giving you 101% without any single barriers to that love. And finally, asking, as much as I ask, being able to give. We always have this checklist. I want A, I want B, I want C, I want D. And then what do you bring? Not to the table though. Please bring me a full table. But then what am I reciprocating in the relationships where I ask for love, where I ask for care, where I ask for community, where I ask for respect, where I ask for individuality, where I ask for freedom, where I ask most importantly for grace when I make mistakes and when I act up? What am I giving in response to my person? Yeah? You let me know what you think about this love series. Are you excited for us to get into it? My name is Lisa Kanyumozi Raboni, and this is Conversations with Kanyumozi.